Everything is personal right here. Everything is personal right here.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of Everything is Personal. Today, we have a very special guest. I'm super stoked. Our guest is Dr. Fink, or better known or less known as Matt Fink. Which one is better
Yep.
known?
I don't know. It's Matt, or that's my given name, and then Doctor, which was kind of bequeathed upon me by Prince
Right.
in some ways. Yeah.
I'm a huge Prince fan, as most people are, I think. And like watching all the visuals, I was mesmerized by watching you in the scrubs. It was just such an interesting visual and so different. How did that come about first?
Well, we were on tour with Rick James on our first real opening act arena tour back in early 1980, like really at the beginning of 1980, late 79. And we were on the third show on the tour, and I remember we were in Chicago at the time, and Prince came to me before the show, right before sound check, actually. And he just said, Rick James is wearing a jailer's outfit, or like a prisoner suit, the black and white stripe, and you're wearing that too for your costume. I picked that costume. It's funny. I was trying different looks. He kept coming to me from day one and saying, "Hey, what do you got for me for looks?" That kind of thing. And in the very beginning, there was like a jumpsuit, a paratrooper's jumpsuit that he gave me.
Uh,
And I put that on. It was like a khaki green thing with the zippers, something you'd wear to, jump out of an airplane with a parachute. And I wore it to the very first show we ever did. And then we retired that. Excuse me. And then I had a gold and black tuxedo, tux and tails. It was like a gold and black satin tuxedo. So black lapels, gold tails, sleeves, everything. And then the pants to go with it. And then I had a vest with that too. But when I did the video with it, which was Why You Want to Treat Me So Bad, the song,
yeah.
I didn't wear a shirt because Prince, wanted everybody to be like sexy or whatever, how he was. So that's what I did. And then Prince pulled that idea after that. He said, "No, that's cheesy. That's been done. That's Elton John. No, you can't do that." I go, "Okay, fine. I have no problem with that. What's your next thing?" And then I picked the guy in the jail outfit. And he loved that because it was punky, and he was coming into the punk funk thing right there. New wave was hitting. So we debuted on American Bandstand with me wearing the black and white striped outfit. And then we did the Rick James tour not long after that. So he says, he's wearing the same thing you're wearing on the song Bustin' Out of L7. You got to take it off. I hate to say this, Matt, I love you, but the image has to go, and I apologize. I said, "Okay, fine." He goes, "What was your other ideas? Do you have any more?" I said, "Yes and no." Because yes was, yeah, but they were rejects on my part before I presented you with the other ideas.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Well, what was your other idea after the jail suit idea?" and the guy in the satin tux. I said, "A guy in a doctor's suit, scrub suit."
Yeah.
And he goes, "What?" I go, "Yeah, a guy in the doctor's suit, like a scrub suit, like a surgeon, dressed like a surgeon." He goes, "You got to be, really?" I go, "Yeah." But I rejected it. I said to him, I rejected it because I didn't think it was flashy enough. I thought it was kind of boring. Scrub suit. And he goes, "No, wait a minute. I mean, compared to black and white stripes, it harkens back to like Jailhouse Rock. It's black and white to go with the keyboards. It's a cool vibe, it was new wave. It was new
Yeah.
wave. And he just went, the doctor thing's interesting. Let's try that tonight. So he has our wardrobe person go out and get scrubs. But on top of it, they got the whole accessory package, right?
Yeah.
Stethoscope, masks, surgeon's cap, the mirror thing, reflector with the headband attached. And you're there, right? And so Prince, I was already wearing the buggy sunglasses. So he
Uh,
goes, okay, wear the buggy sunglasses with this, and then put the mask on when you come on stage. We're new. I'm going to introduce you as Dr. Fink, and you're going to have the mask on. And I go, okay. I resisted it though a little bit. I thought, what are you trying to cover me up here? What are you doing? Oh, I get it. I'm too good looking. Okay. No, I didn't say that. So anyway, I complied because I thought, hey, this is kind of fun. So I did it, and the audience was like, who? They were pointing at me like, what? Who's that? Who does that? Nobody wears a mask like a doctor and looks like a horror show on stage. I mean, I look like Dr. Evil up there with the bug-eye glasses. When you look at me, it's like the invisible man doctor is what I look like.
uh,
Okay, so I'm up there, I'm playing the song, I'm breathing, and the steam is going up into my glasses and it's steaming me up. First song of the night, every time I've got the mask on, it's steaming. I can't see, even though I had to like pretend like I'm well, can't see.
yeah.
So I took the mask off after two songs. And after the first couple nights, I say, Prince, do you mind if I take the mask? He goes, don't take the mask off. I go, I have to leave it off because I can't see. It's steaming up the glasses. I can't. I've tried everything. No matter what I do, it steams. Even if I move the mask in a different spot, otherwise it doesn't work. So he said, okay, fine. So I take the mask off after the first song and I go, thanks a lot. So I'm playing blind on the first song. But I got, a good keyboard player learns to play like that. And look at
Yeah.
all the guys that play like that. So anyway, that was it. It was
That's
fun. And I was it. I became Dr. Fink that time. That was it.
that's a great story. What was your first encounter with Prince?
At my audition.
So how did he put an ad out for a keyboard player, or how did that come about?
No, no, not exactly. Um, I knew people that knew him.
Ah, got it.
Yeah. So
Um,
when you know people,
yeah.
you're kind of like on the inside a little bit. Like I knew he was getting the record deal. I knew he
Uh,
had the record deal. I knew the people that helped him get the record deal through somebody I knew. And then I bugged the people to get an audition.
got it.
And yeah. So, it was one of those things.
Well, let's start with your origin story, too. So where did you grow up?
I grew up in a suburb, what you call an inner ring suburb of Minneapolis, Minnesota.
And
It's
then were your parents together? Do you have siblings?
Yeah, yeah. We grew up in St. Louis Park, which is
Mhm.
just west of downtown Minneapolis, about 10-minute drive, on the freeway. Not really close. I mean, you had like the city of Minneapolis and St. Paul, the Twin Cities, and then, excuse me, you had these first ring suburbs that they built right after World War II. And all these veterans came home after World War II, and they built all these cute little houses all over those suburbs for the baby boom generation that was created out of that.
Right.
I was one of those guys.
When you were growing up, did you have musical inclinations, interests? Were you into sports? Were like what kind of kid were you?
I was into a lot of stuff,
Mm.
but music, theater, sports, uh,
Did you have
just
some sort of like desire, like as a kid, like you know, slash when he picked up the guitar, he's like, oh shit, I'm going to practice 8 hours a day. This is all I ever want to do. I don't see myself doing anything else as a kid. Did you have anything like that when you started playing? Or like a piano, was that your first instrument?
Yeah, piano was my very first instrument.
Mhm.
And then I wanted to play drums, so I learned how to play drums too at a young age. And started, with piano teachers when I was about 6.5, 7, right in there.
Uh-huh.
And I had instructors all the way through my senior year of high school. So I was very fortunate that my parents were able to afford private instruction,
Yeah, and
you
they
know.
supported that, but did they want you to become a musician, or when you said, like, what was the moment when you said, I'm going to be a musician instead of being a doctor or an engineer? Well, you are a
Well,
doctor in some
my
way.
parents never forced anything on me, but my parents were artistic people and they
Okay.
were both actors. They both had degrees in theater from the University of Minnesota. So
Got it.
my upbringing exposed me to all aspects of the arts, like, acting and musical theater and, you know, the classics, classical music, all that stuff, jazz. Growing up, we had all of the different music happening in our home, being played. So um, I acted when I was a kid. I did voiceover work when I was a kid too, for educational recordings and things like that.
Did you join a band at some point? Were you doing
Hmm.
session? Like, what
Yeah.
was your first experience actually doing music, quote unquote professionally, or was it like a school band or some of that?
Well, the actual first band, which was comprised of kids in the neighborhood,
Right.
my buddies that I grew up with, who were musically inclined. Not everybody was.
Yeah.
The ones that wanted to be in music, we formed our first band and did our first private band event for someone's party,
Uh-huh.
some girl's party, birthday party, and we were all between the age of 12 and 13 at that time. I was 2 months shy of my 13th birthday. So that was it. It was really something else too.
Well, were
Funny.
you like the guys in the neighborhood, like that would play like people's bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvah kind of thing? Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
got it.
Yeah. Did
Um,
all that.
and then when did you kind of come to a realization that you can do this sort of as a career?
Well, that definitely struck me well before my high school years.
Okay.
I would say by the time I was in ninth grade, I was heading for the music industry at that point, for sure. Mhm.
What was your like first, beside I'm not saying that like playing, parties and stuff is not professional gigs, but what was your first sort of like professional gig in a bar club kind of environment?
Mhm. I was 16 at the time, and this is the summer of 1974, and I was still playing with the guys in my high school band, but some of them wanted to take a break that summer. And I was 16 at the time, as I said. And there was this other group was advertising for a keyboard player that I found looking in the newspaper, right? And the want ads for jobs. And so these guys were all 10 years older than me, 5 to 10, or 9 to 10 years older. They came over to our house where I lived with my parents at the time and auditioned me. And they went, "We'll take you." And that was it. I played what was called a house gig
Yeah.
at a nightclub on a lake north of Minneapolis, about 40 minutes north, 45 minutes, a place called Lake George, a little small community north of here and on the lake. And I went up there every weekend for that whole summer of 74. I had a wonderful time. The bartender or bar owner looked the other way because I was
Yeah, of
underage.
course.
And I had a fake ID too on top of it. It's really funny. I got to tell you a story. This is the best story.
Yeah, yeah,
Wait,
totally.
hold on. One of my best friends, I won't mention his name, that I grew up with, his father, he was funny. He and I fake IDs when we were 14 years old so we could try to get into R or X-rated movies in downtown Minneapolis. So on one of the days when it was like only a half a day of school and all the seniors were going to get out, we were like in ninth grade or something like that. We thought, okay, let's go see A Clockwork Orange downtown. It was like when it first came out, it was rated X.
Yeah.
And we got in line with this huge throng of seniors out of our high school there, and all different senior highs in the Twin Cities area were at this movie theater just jam packed to get in. And we were in there like sardines, and we were these little guys, these little 14-year-old kids. We get up to the counter and they say, ID, please. And we put the fake ID in front of them. They look at it, they say, fine, here you go. And we were in because they were in such a hurry. It was such a rush. So we got in. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
It was great. We couldn't believe we got into an X-rated movie at the
That's
time. They later downgraded it to an R.
yeah.
They edited it more, but
But
my
it's
gosh.
an intense movie for a 14-year-old, I think.
Oh, it was intense, but you know what? That movie would have been rated R slash almost PG
Yeah,
in today's films.
for
I don't know.
sure.
Anyway,
For
but
sure.
there's some pretty nasty moments in that film for that era was bad. Yeah. But I
What
wasn't
was
traumatized. I wasn't traumatized. I was mature enough to handle it, believe me.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
What was what kind of music were you guys playing with that band you were in? Was it like covers or
Yeah, oh, it's strictly covers, but we would jam, we were jamming, like trying to do some semblance of something, and
was it
then
like funk, blues, like rock?
it was more bluesy and rocky at that time.
Got it.
We were learning though the hits of the day. I mean, we were playing Doobie Brothers, we were, bringing out later day Beatles stuff.
Okay.
Because it was, we were it was like 1972 for the first band, we were playing Long Train Running by the Doobie Brothers, amongst other things, Allman Brothers, all kinds of stuff. We were pretty good for our age. We weren't bad. By the time we were in ninth grade with that band, we won a local radio station's battle of the bands.
Oh, pretty cool.
Yes. And then by our senior year, we changed the name. The original name was called Odella, and then we changed it to Wizard for the senior year. And we had this other guitar player added at that time who was just like a monster. I mean, when we first met him, he was 15. We actually added him when we were all in 10th grade. We added him to the group, and he could play, stuff like Clapton and
Oh wow.
Beatles and anything at his age. He was really advanced for his age because he came from a musical family. His parents were both professional musicians. He started very young.
I'm curious about the dynamic. So when you audition and Prince liked your audition, I guess, and said, Matt, come on board. He's known for a lot of, playing all his own instruments before and really being controlling how he wants the output to be. What was he thinking that you're going to be sort of going on tour and playing on stage, and then in the process of recording, it would still be him, or what was the dynamic like?
It was a mixture of all that for everyone because obviously he played everything fluently. So he didn't need a band in the studio. He could do a lot on his own. But some songs worked really well with him doing it all, and some songs worked better as an ensemble to him. So it just was up to him because it was his thing. But, when he decided to go more the ensemble route,
Oh.
uh, that's when we were involved more. As
How
far as
how did that
now,
work?
for session wise, as far
Yeah.
as writing, he was writing, 95 point whatever point something percent of
Yeah,
the
but you
song.
have writing credits on
Yeah,
various songs. Like you
yeah,
have writing credits and you have session like credits on the albums. Like
absolutely. We all did, but when you look at his overall catalog and how prolific he was, I had just a minuscule uh, contribution to that in a lot of respects. But
mhm,
very, very fortunate, like I said, and grateful to have been around someone of his, uh, prolific nature.
for sure.
So I just learned a lot from him, and as and he learned some things from me, certainly along the way. But boy, I got to tell you, I call him the whirling dervish of music.
He was always creating, yeah.
Yeah.
What was the band dynamic like when you came out? When you came, who were the members of the band originally with you?
Gail Chapman on
Yeah,
keyboards and vocals, Des Dickerson on guitar, Andre Simone on bass, who was Prince's best buddy growing up together, lived in his house, guy. Prince, of course, and Bobby Z.
obviously.
Bobby Rivkin Z.
Exactly.
And the guy who I happen to know on the inside because he was on the inside through his older brother who was buddies with Owen Husney, who had played in a band with Bobby's older brother David when they were in high school. And Owen became Prince's first manager, and David produced Prince's first demos. And then Bobby went to work for Owen as like an assistant kind of runner, gopher guy when Owen was booking, concerts in Minneapolis and managing Prince, and then Bobby befriended Prince in the beginning, and was kind of a mentor. A couple years older than Prince, but a little bit of a, helping him out with things, and then Prince decided to let Bobby audition, and Bobby got the job, and then after, right before all that happened, Bobby played me the demo tape that had been produced before they even began shopping it to Warner Brothers, just when they were about to do it. And I just, couldn't believe how great this was coming out of Minneapolis. When I heard the demo and was told he was my age and had performed all the instruments and written all the music, and that his brother had engineered it and done all his great recording techniques to make it sound amazing. Uh, I just went, wow, how can I be a part of this? So Prince was auditioning all kinds of people. I kind of had to wait in line to get my shot at it, though, a
Yeah,
little bit.
I was
Yeah,
going to ask you. You didn't mention it first. I was going to ask you if Bobby Z was your inside guy.
that was him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um. So, what was the first album that you contributed to?
Dirty Mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
incredible. Do you have any memories of those sessions? Anything interesting about that you remember?
Well, yes. I mean, again, 90 something percent of that album was all Prince.
Mhm.
There was a little bit of Lisa Coleman. She had just joined the group at that time. She was doing a little bit of keyboard work and vocal work on it. And I was just doing a little bit of keyboard work with a solo on the song head, and the main keyboard verse and B section of the song Dirty Mind was my keyboard part that he wrote that song around. That whole chord progression. So that was my contribution to that album.
Also in Computer Blue, I think too, right?
Computer Blue is on Purple Rain, yes.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you worked on that one too.
Yeah, yep, yes.
Yeah, because I was going through the credits, even the Black album, right? You were contributing on that too, or and did when he decided to pull that album originally, uh,
Hmm.
did he communicate to anybody what he was doing, or he was just like,
Well, we were kind of blindsided because we had cassette copies of it in our hands. The band members did because maybe what 3 weeks before he decided not to release it. Maybe it was a month. I can't remember for sure the time frame. I just know that I had a copy of it and I was learning it.
I remember there were copies that were out at first, and then he had them all pulled, I think.
It never left the warehouse, but they were
Oh,
printed up. The Black Album had been printed up, and then some promo copies got leaked.
yeah,
Because
that's what it was.
people in the warehouse probably went, "Oh no, he's pulling it!" And then they grabbed it. Workers
Yeah,
just went grabbed
I
it real
have
quick.
one. I have one. I
Yeah,
used to be a
see,
music buyer at Tower Records way
there
back
you
in the day,
go.
so I have a copy.
Oh yeah, people sneaked them immediately. All
Eh,
right, so I had to give my cassette dub back. I don't even have,
really?
I mean I have one, a copy somewhere now from somebody else or a bootleg. Some, you know, it's really weird. Fans over the years have sent me all this unreleased bootleg stuff that was taken out of Prince's vault. It's insane.
Nah.
I and me, I just, for the record, if anybody is listening, I don't
If
know how many I
yeah,
don't
I
know
don't
how
know.
many
Nobody's
followers.
listening. Don't
I
worry
don't know
about
how
it.
many followers you have out there,
It's just
right?
you and I. There's nobody listening. Don't worry.
Yeah. Um, I have never bootlegged anything of my archives of my music that I've had over the years, from my rehearsal tapes and live board tapes and live rehearsal board tapes from all the years, my 12 years with Prince. And um, there's people out there that have, I don't know how they got that stuff. I don't get it, because they would send me stuff. I have songs that were I'd never heard before, double albums of stuff
Well,
that I
people went in
didn't
the
know
vault.
about.
I mean, people went in the vault. There's record of people going in and taking stuff out. So,
So with that said,
mm,
I don't know if you were aware, but I just auctioned off a bunch of my memorabilia last Friday.
yeah,
Were you aware of that?
yeah, I read that you did that.
Okay, okay. And part of that was my cassette archive of Prince rehearsals recorded by me on boom boxes and different medium, and
Amazing.
some were off of boards, you know, as well. And I decided to let this go because it's a collectible, and the collector cannot release them or bootleg them. They have to sign a waiver,
Got it.
and that's that. And I have, you know, obviously I have copies here.
Yeah, that's so cool.
But the point is, it was time to sell them for me.
Yeah. I don't remember time wise. I'm trying to think back when Prince opened up for the Rolling Stones, that whole tour.
Yeah.
Were you part of that tour? You do you remember, like, he opened up for Rolling Stones, and it was, I'm pretty sure, I'm trying to remember the year, and there was the story goes, there was a bunch
Yeah.
of bikers there, and they were throwing shit on
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah. We were there. Yeah, that was the you know, Mick Jagger really liked Prince. This was
Yeah,
the Dirty Mind album that
that's
come
right.
out
That's
that
right.
year. And Mick really liked that. He thought that was so really cool what Prince was doing. You know, very open-minded artist, of course, you know. And anyway, so he specifically requested Prince open for those big stadium shows. We were supposed to do like 6 of them, like 6 big stadiums with them.
Yeah.
And it was us, George Thorogood and the Destroyers, and Jay Gall's band, and then the Stones. It was 4 bands.
Yeah.
Of course, we were first. We were thrown to the wolves at, like, I don't know, 4 in the afternoon or something like
Yeah,
that.
in
And
the
like,
light.
it was like the sun was still up, and it's like, oh God, I hate this. And so we took the stage, and of course the Stones were still using the Hells Angels as their bodyguards.
Yeah.
And they still obviously attracted a pretty rough crowd. What I would like to say, a bikery type of rough and tumble guys, maybe. I don't know. I hate to say racist. I don't want to say that. I hope they're not, but they acted maybe like they were, I don't know. Okay, so it's like as soon as we took the stage, I thought to myself, in my wildest dreams, I never thought in a million years that the so-called 60s Rolling Stones, Peace, Love generation, Woodstock generation would still be hostile to a mixed race, multi-gender band coming on the stage, fresh group, Prince. Who's that? We weren't even Prince in the Revolution yet. Who's this little black upstart? 3 black dudes up front with 3 white folks, and one of them's a gal in the back. What WTF? Well, anyway.
And they started throwing shit, right?
Oh man, yes indeed. They were throwing food. They were throwing food in baggies. They were throwing crumpled up paper cups, the waxy Coca-Cola cups. One of those sons of bitches hit me right here in the temple in the ear. Bing! It stung, and believe me, they were like, they were on the pitcher's mound out there. Okay, going for the fastball. Okay, and then I'm watching. We're on like about the 3rd song of a half-hour set, right? We're not even halfway through the set. Somebody throws one of those little 5th of whiskey bottles empty at Prince, and it whizzes by his face that close. I'm not kidding. I saw it just go like this. He saw it and felt it. That's how close it grazed him. Oh, so that was when he said, okay, we're done.
Yeah.
And he looked at us and he gave us the sign like that. And then he walked off the stage without ending the song. Though. So we all just kept playing like this.
What do we do?
No, Des Dickerson took over, and he managed to end the song. He played a little solo, ended the song, and then we walked off. Prince hightailed it. Literally, he got his luggage, and went to the airport and got on the first plane back to Minneapolis.
Wow.
We all went back to the hotel dejected. Like we couldn't believe what just happened. We were in shock. I was especially. I was like, like I said, in my wildest dreams, I would have never thought that generation would have been so hostile to a group like us when civil rights was out. And this is Los Angeles, which is definitely, and California is a more liberal state.
Sure.
And this is, 1981, but still, it was just really shocking for me. Okay, so Mick Jagger calls. I think we were all meeting in one of the guys' room, Des Dickerson's room. Mick tracked us down in Des's room after the show, and says he's talking to Des first, and then he wanted to talk to our manager, who happened to be with us, and he said, he really wanted Prince to do the next show. So this was a Friday night. Then we were going to have a day off Saturday, and then play Sunday, and then we were going to move on to these other big dome stadiums, around the country. So he basically got down on his hands and knees and begged Prince to do the show on Sunday.
Wow.
And then we got Prince on the phone. He's already flown home to me. He's on the way home.
I'm out.
Jet. He was out of here. But Mick managed to convince him to come back. So he did. He came back, and we did the show on Sunday, and the same thing happened again.
Yeah, that's what I read. That's crazy.
We lasted a little longer on stage, but it was too dangerous, so we got off again. Now, just to juxtaposition that with what happened with Mick Jagger as well, was when during one of his songs, people threw shoes on stage. Did you know that?
I read that too. Yeah,
I witnessed it. I watched the whole set. Right, the sun finally went down, of course. And people at one point, I don't know what song he did that precipitated this, or why they felt the need to tie their shoelaces together and toss their shoes up on the stage. And I'm not talking about just a few. It was weird. It was like, never seen anything like it. Mick Jagger goes,
all right, everybody, I ain't a fucking doormat, you know.
That's hilarious.
And I mean, really?
Yeah.
Right? I
Maybe,
mean,
maybe
back then, again, just like I've never seen anything like that.
it was a bad acid trip or something like that. That
It
people,
was bizarre. It was bizarre behavior that I'd never witnessed at any concert in my life.
I wanted to ask you about Purple Rain,
Mm-hmm.
the making of the album. Like when you were, and I know there's some contribution and Prince did a lot of it, but there was interaction between all the musicians in the room. When you guys were hearing the songs and sort of adding and modifying and having this musical conversation, did you have an idea of how huge this album would be?
Oh, yeah, I think so. I mean,
Or
you're
impactful. Let me just rephrase it. It's huge. The impact that it would have, because sometimes you listen to a song, even if it's rough, and you're like, "Holy shit, this is fucking wow!" It's like
yeah,
mind blowing.
yeah, but Prince was an unknown quantity as an actor,
Right,
and that was the greatest fear of Warner Brothers. Not so much Prince's management, but Warner Brothers
right.
for sure. Because when Prince wanted to make this movie, his management went to Warner's and said, "Hey, give us a bunch of money to do a movie," and they went, well, we love Prince. He's a great artist, but he went double platinum with 1999. I don't know if that warrants him doing a rock and roll film yet, like Elvis or somebody,
Right.
let alone, we don't even know if he can act. Let's do a screen test at least. You can't just come waltzing in here asking for dough, right? Well, you've seen him on video. He's fantastic. He's great as a silent film star. Just kidding. I'm joking. So
Just have a track playing behind him, and he'll just act.
right. So, but for me, knowing Prince up to that point, I knew personally that he had it in him, personality wise, to pull off a movie. So his management had to cut like a sharing deal where the actual guys who had the money, Cavallo Ruffalo Farnoli,
Yeah.
who managed the likes of Earth, Wind, and Fire and several others. They went. I don't know the exact percentage who went what, but it was a 50 or 60-40 or whatever 50-50 deal between them and Warner's for the front money for the budget, which was about $9 million in all in. So they managed to do it because the management believed in him so much, in Prince so much, they just knew it was going to go. It was going to be successful. That's how confident they were. So I don't know what to tell you. You're always going, oh God, please God, don't fail. Oh, don't be panned,
Well, I mean,
and
the
hopefully it
movie,
goes,
I understand the movie is, because as you said, it's an unknown quantity, but when you heard the actual music that
well,
was
sure.
coming out, because you've obviously heard other music that you guys were creating and you were creating other music together and Prince would bring that, but was there anything that made you think that when you heard like the songs from Purple Rain that this is something that's going to be special?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was groundbreaking personally. I thought it was really unique and original. So, of course, I was listening to so much amazing music over the years, besides Prince that I was into, and I knew what he had achieved. So it was kind of like, yep, you're right up there with the greats now, buddy.
Yeah, were you friendly with like Mars Day and that whole crew as well?
Absolutely. Still friendly with all of them. I play with Jelly Bean to this day from time to time. We're out gigging with me, Paul Peterson, uh, Kirk Johnson on drums.
Yeah.
We get Oliver Lieber on guitar, that group. St. Paul and the Minneapolis
Yeah.
Funk All Stars. It's kind of like a interchangeable Prince alumni group.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Let me know next time you play in LA. I'd love to see that. I went to see Mars Day on my birthday, and then last year, I think 2 years ago, maybe I forgot. Maybe it was last year.
Oh,
I was
you missed us. We were just there in October
well. You'll be back.
recently in LA playing. Yeah, we'll be back. I'm sorry. I can't remember to keep track of everybody. I try.
Uh, I definitely will see you when you're here. I'm a
Okay.
fan.
Okay.
What? How? I wanted to talk to you about the transition. So, how was the transition, like out of the revolution and pursuing sort of your own musical projects and interests?
Well, I mean, after the revolution was disbanded by Prince, I remained on as with the new version of the MPG for
That's
4 more years. But during that time, I was writing and doing things on the side when I had time off,
right.
and I was trying to like get songs placed with other artists out there. And I was working with another partner writer, and who was also touring with other signed artists as well. And so we were just trying to get songs out there like anybody on the side, but we couldn't do full on publishing deals because we were both touring too much, because if you some of these label or publishers, they want you to write 50 songs a year for them, and then they give you an advance and you'd have to stay home and write all the time. It's hard to do it when you're on tour off and
Yeah.
on. But yes, we wrote some cool songs back then.
But you
They were
also
fun.
you also opened up is it the operating room, like your studio and projects
Hmm.
you're doing? Were you looking to create opportunities for other artists as part of that, or what was your goal with it?
Absolutely. Yeah, I work with a lot of local people here in the Twin Cities after I was out of Prince at the end of 1990. And right now, um, I'm working with a couple different sync licensing agencies that represent that catalog of material for the artists I work with, and myself, stuff that I produced or wrote or co-wrote with those artists.
You were doing and may still be doing like video games and some other TV stuff. Is that correct?
Lately, haven't done anything for video games and
Okay.
TV. I did a video game back in right before the pandemic, and then the pandemic hit. We had just finished the music, and then the video game got postponed for a long time because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Um, right now, I'm just doing studio work and for different artists at the moment. Have different things kind of coming in and out of the studio and playing live, and from time to time.
What do you enjoy doing most?
Well, at my age, I kind of prefer more being at home more than being on the road, you know, but I still enjoy playing live.
Prince's legacy really continues to influence artists today,
Hmm.
for
Hmm.
sure, 100%. How do you see the influence that Prince had manifesting itself in like music today?
Oh, well, there's several artists out there who profess to be highly influenced by Prince, and their music reflects some of what he did in those days to now. They've kind of like updated their sound. And one person that comes to mind is The Weeknd,
Yeah.
and he even has said in interviews that Prince is a big influence on him.
Yeah, I remember, I think Questlove was talking about that too.
Yeah, Questlove is another person who's loved Prince to the max.
Yeah, he's a Philly guy, and
Yeah,
I'm a Philly
yeah,
guy too, so
hmm,
it's a
yeah,
connection
yeah,
as well. And he tells all these interesting stories how Prince would come and try to grab him in the middle of the night, and then have him view Finding Nemo, which is his favorite movie and all that. Did he ever do any of that with you?
yeah, yeah. We'd be at Paisley Park rehearsing and getting ready for a tour or something, and then he'd just like personally rent out the local Chanhassen movie theater, and we'd all go out for a late movie at like 11 in the evening, 11:30 after the last late movie let out. And then he'd be up till 2 a.m. or more watching a movie with us. He was a night owl. He's one of those, we all kept those hours and those days. I'll never forget. I mean, up until the time my wife and I had our first child in 1995, we were both in professions that allowed us to sleep in every day. And then I went on dad time after that.
Yeah, what a change, right? When you don't sleep all of a sudden.
Yeah, but I did it. I did it, and now we're just, it's a whole different thing. Now you're on a more natural circadian rhythm, I think, when you're doing the getting up at 6 a.m., instead of noon.
Well, did you keep in touch with Prince in later years when, sort of he shifted into his religious mode and started, kind of making different type of music and stuff?
Yes. Yeah, we were in touch from time to time. Yep, we would catch up on things, see how each other was doing, each of us. There was one meeting I had with him, though, that was pretty significant, and that was in early fall of 2014 when he was expressed an interest to reunite with the Revolution again.
Okay.
Yep, and I said, yeah, I'm down for it. But then he decided to postpone that idea for some reason, do the Third Eye Girl thing first.
Yeah. The third eye.
Yeah. So I just kind of sitting there hanging out going, okay, when are you going to do this?
I mean, I have such empathy for his plight, given the fact that, and it's public knowledge, I think that, he had the child mishap and his child passed, but it seemed to me that it really affected him in a way where he was trying to pull it back together. But I think a lot of those changes and somebody who followed, and I'm way on the outside, you're on the inside, but I think that there was significant changes. I felt to me, and even energetically, what he was, projecting the world after, all those things happened with his life. So
yeah.
I don't know if you felt some of that being on the inside too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
When this, I wonder if is there a Prince song that you think or a project that you feel is just not getting enough recognition that you thought was really good, but it really didn't do the sort of sales or whatever it is, or that one would expect?
Oh, well, yeah. The Rainbow Children album was really interesting to me. I thought that was technically, musically, it was really new and really, I don't know, it was really different. I mean, there were things about it that people criticized it for the deep voice narrator guy that's in between the songs. And it's supposed to be kind of religious. Obviously, Prince was really into being way more with God at that time in his life, which is fine, but I don't know, he just musically at that point he attained something new to me, or he got really, his technical prowess even hit another level to me when I heard that record. And the people around him that were working with him in the MPG at that time, the influence from them too, it just felt really, I don't know how to explain it. It wasn't pop music anymore. It was going on the jazz tip, but progressive and
I think it was really cool, and I
really
completely
brilliant, really brilliant,
Yeah, and I really urge people to go out and dig deeper into the catalog, because it's not only the most popular albums and songs, but there was so much. Such a huge catalog of music.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's going to come out so much more now, because people need to make money off the estate too, so they'll be releasing all kinds of stuff. But I'm sure
his body of work is just crazy. He's like Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan has a vast catalog just sitting in storage. You know that, right?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah. I'm a little more of a Prince fan than Bob Dylan, even though I
Well,
respect.
me too, obviously, but I'm just talking about the prolific nature. Dylan was all about the lyric and the poetry and the mess. You know, his thing was musically simpler than Prince. You know, he did some cool stuff too along the way, had some good musicians around him, but Prince was a whole nother different
For sure.
thing, animal from Dylan.
Is there any sort of story or moment that you can relay that gives us an insight into, Prince as a person, uh, or or an artist, or both? Anything that comes to mind that we may not be aware of that is interesting?
Well, just that he is a pretty complex guy. And I never felt like I knew a lot about him and stuff that he told stories about himself that shaped him as a kid and growing up and his experiences and all that. But I didn't necessarily know him deeply, like who the real guy deeply what was there, you know.
Do you think he was guarded in a way that you think?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Sure. Absolutely. And in the beginning of our relationship, all the way up until the Purple Rain time, making that movie and doing all that, we were much closer. And as friends, I felt we could be, even though he was my boss, I felt like there was a closer thing happening. But once he attained that, like, whoa, stardom that just went, then he had no choice but to kind of be separate. He separated himself from all of us in a lot of ways. It became more boss employee relationship at that point than friendship.
How did that affect the group dynamic, just in general? Because it's sort of a shift, right? It shifts from, hey, we're kind of hanging out friendly, and now we're not.
Well, don't get me wrong, we're still social. There's still,
yeah,
but something dynamically felt for me changed
yeah.
for sure at that point. And yeah, you had to keeping up with him. It was like a comet. He was like just, and you had to like hang on for dear life, the tail of the comet, where he was going at that point.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on that? Do you mean he was just, so ambitious and trying to do so many?
Yeah, he was doing so much. He was out there. He was, producing Vanity Six and the Time or Apollonia, whatever at that point. He was writing and doing stuff for other artists, and it just was really you just had to be on top of your game around him. Show up on rehearsal, show up on time, knowing your music, and that was it. Just
that's it. And if
yeah.
you're not, and if you're not prepared, what
You
happens?
could be in. Oh no, it wasn't good. Wasn't good.
Yeah,
I felt that wrath.
Yeah.
All it took was one time for me to show up and not know my shit.
All right. And what happened?
And nothing. Just it's like, okay, everybody, take a break. Let Fink learn his shit.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
What do you think the legacy of Prince is going to be like going forward, and also the different iterations? Because it is Prince, but it's so many different. It's with the revolution, with the new power generation, all the different things he did. What do you think is going to be sort of the legacy that?
Well, to me, if the estate wants to extend his legacy to the public and young people and keep it going in a way that will be really cool. There's new technology that is out there now, and you probably know all about this. I was just in London this last weekend where they were advertising the holographic ABBA show.
Yeah.
Which I'd known about before. But then, of course, I really wanted to try to take the time to go see it. I didn't have time. Maybe next time I'm there, which I think I'll be there again later next year. But I heard it's spectacular. And then you've got the Sphere in Las Vegas, where they just did this really amazing Grateful Dead show, and then U2 opened it up and did all this stuff. And I mean, if the estate, I'm sure they're already thinking of these things. I've thought of it.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I've spoken to a few people about this, but of course, it's a no-brainer. You create this amazing multimedia prints of show using that technology, either in the Sphere or like the ABBA show or something with the estate's approval. And then you could recreate Purple Rain, the album, with it easily.
I think the Sphere would be a fantastic place to do that.
You could recreate his, all the best songs from his catalog from the beginning all the way up through the MPG years. I mean, so it's just really even Third Eye Girl. Take it all the way. Give it a 2.5-2 hour extravaganza show.
Love it.
And that's my opinion. I'm sticking with it. It's my thing. I'm sticking with it.
It's gonna happen. I think. I really do.
I personally think it should happen. I mean, why not? He's big. He's a big enough artist. I mean, they may do it with Michael Jackson, but he has kind of a tainted legacy now. So I don't know.
Well, there's a Vegas show, a Michael Jackson show that's been going on forever. There's nothing Prince related. This would be sort of brand new, and I'm sure that he wouldn't want to do anything that Michael Jackson may have done before him. So this would be something completely new, and he would be first doing that.
True. Well, anyway, so
yeah,
yep. That's how I would keep his legacy going, and of course, the Prince Paisley Park Museum. That's cool too. I mean, out here in Minnesota.
When it gets warmer, I plan on visiting it.
Have you been there yet? Have you seen it yet? No, you haven't yet. Okay.
Never. No, I moved from Philly to LA. One of the reasons is because I don't like the cold, even though I lived there for all my life. So I'm trying to wait till it's warm. But I'd love to go.
I totally relate. I walked outside. I relate to the cold because today it got cold again. Finally, we've had a mild fall, and now here it is. It's finally the 20th of November. We got snow today. We got about a half inch of snow finally. Yeah. So I walked outside to get the mail. I said, okay, here we go. Time to head south.
Yeah, for sure. What are some of the things that you're working on now? Any projects, anything else that you want to talk about as far as the work you're doing?
I've been doing like long distance session work lately for different clients.
Got it.
I've been doing that for a while again, and playing live. Now I've had some different people that come regularly to record songs. Just people come in to do that locally. But my son who moved back here, he's getting ready to release an EP.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. What's his band name or his name, or what does he go on?
He goes by the name Max Milli, which is spelled MVXMILLI. He's on SoundCloud, and he's got a single with this other artist named Darko, spelled DVRKO. So it's Max Milli and Darko. And they had something they did a few years ago, a single out, and it's on YouTube. And trying to remember the name of that song now. It should come to me in a minute. But they did a new one, like a redo of Melt With You by Modern English.
Yeah.
They just released this a few weeks ago. It's out on Darko's YouTube channel, spelled DVRKO. And my son is singing it, co-produced it. It's like an EDM, kind of fun EDM modern version of that song, take on that song.
I love that song. One of my favorites.
Yeah.
What's the band that you tour with most often?
We're St. Paul and the Minneapolis Funk All Stars, which is comprised of Prince alumni bandmates from various Prince groups.
Write that down.
And you know, there's different people who come and go depending on their schedules
Yeah, I'm putting that
and
into my bands in
availability.
town, so it reminds me when you guys are anywhere in the area. I'd love to come.
Yeah.
See. All right, so I have some questions I ask all my guests. Do you remember, and if so, what was the very first concert that you ever attended?
Three Dog Night, 1968 at the Metropolitan, at the Metropolitan Sports Center in Minneapolis, south of Minneapolis, in Bloomington, suburb of Bloomington.
Uh,
That's where the old North Star hockey team used to play.
yeah, Minnesota North Stars, I remember.
Yeah, North Stars. That place got torn down in the Mall of Americas in that space now.
Oh.
But that was my first ever concert. I went with the future drummer of my first band, who lived down the block away from me, and I think a couple other buddies. So in those days, we were 10 years old. One of our parents drove us all down there with our tickets and dropped us off.
Yeah,
And we went in there at the age of 10 to a rock and roll concert, watched the show, and told our parents, it gets over at this time, we'll meet you out front. And we were fine.
yeah. When it changed, the world definitely changed a lot.
Yeah.
What was the last concert you attended?
The latest one that I've been to
Yeah, the last
for
one.
somebody.
Mhm.
Now, does like perform opening for a group count if it's one I attended or played at?
I know it's a weird question to ask musicians, because musicians like, I don't fucking go to concerts. What do you mean?
Yeah,
I'm on the road. But
I'm trying to remember
whatever
what did I go to late the latest thing for like an actual artist concert, like in a theater or something. Oh, geez, it's been a minute actually since I went to like an arena show. I haven't been to an arena show in a while because I've been playing,
for sure.
and then I've been too busy actually. I've been to some local venues to see friends play or other bands coming in. I went and saw Don Was
Okay.
from Was Not Was. I think that was the last thing I saw, but that was at the what's called the Dakota Jazz
Well,
Club
Don
here.
runs Blue Note too, right? Isn't that? Doesn't he run?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So he came in with his band,
Yeah.
and his guitar player is a friend of mine from Detroit who I've worked with off and on in the last like 20 years, like session work with him. I bring him in on stuff. And anyway.
All right. Another music question. Let's see. I think you'd be good at this one. So for the next year, you have to listen to only 5 albums. And if you don't want to name the actual album, you can say Beatles or whatever it is. But what would be those 5 albums and that you would listen to for next year?
Oh, I would listen to stuff by Steely Dan, but I'm trying to just pick one of their albums because I'm trying to go with 5 artists that I like. So I would probably listen to Asia by them. And then I would probably I love the Beatles, but I've listened to it so much I don't know if I'd want to have a bunch of that rotating for a year. Let's go to some of the like great jazz guys out there, like Herbie Hancock and George Duke and Weather Report, people like that. I would listen to at least one of their albums each, you know. And then I would probably have to throw in some really great like classic jazz kind of stuff. Go along, older stuff. And I don't know yet. That's a tough one. I Oscar Peterson on piano or
like Louis Armstrong to Duke Ellington type of stuff?
Yeah, I like big band era too. It's tough for me because I love all that stuff, you know. So as far as classical music, you know, it's okay, but I don't know if I'd want that on rotation for a month.
Got it.
So, but you know, I might sprinkle in one pop artist in there, another one. I just don't know who. There are too many. I can't. It's too confusing.
I know
That's a tough question.
It's a hard question because somebody asked me a long time ago, and I was like, you know
Stevie
what?
Stevie Wonder, Songs in the Key of Life. It's right there. That reminded. That's a great album too. You know, I haven't
like
rotated that.
I like Intervisions better personally.
Oh yeah, they're all good. God dang it, who can choose?
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, that works. All right, so final bonus
Something by Quincy Jones. Good Lord, what a.
Oh,
Anyway, go ahead.
yeah, that's incredible. One of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing catalog. Okay. All right, so please describe what your room looked like growing up.
My room.
Yeah.
The very first room or my second room?
Whatever room you want to describe as.
Well, my first room I shared with my older brother, and that was just pretty simple. We, you know, two beds in there, and the windows were more like up towards the ceiling. So I had to stand up on the bed, and then I could look out the window because they were up above, and you could crank them out.
Yeah.
It was really a weird design. It was like weird late 50s. There's like a 58 house built in 58. So that was the first house. Then my parents built a house when I was 8, 9. We moved in late like 1965, and I had my own bedroom now. I didn't have to share a room with my brother. And my mom said, "What kind of wallpaper do you want? Here, let's go look at wallpaper." So the wallpaper I picked was red, white, and blue vertical stripes with different thicknesses of because I thought I'm so patriotic. I got to have that red, white, and blue. And then that was only half of the wall from the midpoint up was that, right? And then from the midpoint of the wall down, it was divided by like a wood trim thing going around the wall, and then below that it was painted blue. And then blue carpet. Had blue carpet to go in this room. It was very boyish. You know, I'm 8 years old, 8.5, almost 9 when we moved in.
Anything on the walls? Like
what's that?
Did you have any artwork anywhere? Like any?
Eventually, I had artwork in there. Some things I don't remember what that was though. Now, now going forward, the room got changed about maybe when I was 11, 3 years later, or I can't remember for sure when this was. Right before 12 or 11, my mom decided, you know, let's redecorate. You know, in the 60s, or this was probably in the like 71, something like that. And I don't remember. All I know is that my mom wanted to change things and put different carpet in, blah, blah, blah. Let's go look at new wallpaper. So then we got rid of the wood trim, and I picked out that reed. It was like made out of straw looking stuff that was sewn into the wallpaper. Remember that stuff that came out in the early 70s, you know, when like reed wallpaper was in, and burnt orange and lime green. Okay, so I got this reed wallpaper, got different colored carpet, sort of like I don't remember, like a weird olive green color. It was really weird. And then my mom got my brother and I this modular furniture that you could literally, you hung it on the wall. So the dressers were hung on the wall, these things were hung, and the shelving was part of it. And then I had like a pull down desk with a top that came down. And then my brother had a bigger desk because he had a little bit bigger bedroom, my older brother. So he had the wall part where it was like the unit with the shelving and the dresser built in, and then his desk came out more from the wall, like a sit at the desk. Mine was a pull down top desk in the middle of the two dressers. It was cool. And a closet. You know, we were suburbanites in a little rambler house, you know, probably like finished off, like, or the main level was probably 2,200 square feet. And they didn't finish basement except for one bedroom later, because the basement remained unfinished for ping pong and band rehearsals.
You need that.
But it had a sliding walkout door out to the back to a nature area called the Westwood Hills Nature Reserve, which still exists to this day. It's in the northwest corner of St. Louis Park, and it's sandwiched in the suburbs there between housing developments that went in those days in that area.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Matt,
I was spoiled. I was spoiled rotten. I was a
where,
privileged white boy.
where can people engage with you or connect with you, or any material, anything else that you want to people know?
What's that again?
Where people can connect with you,
Can connect with me. Oh,
yeah,
well,
or get your
I'm
content. Mhm.
I mean I'm on Instagram Messenger at Matt Fink 1. I'm on Facebook Messenger as Matthew Fink. I also have a Dr. Fink fan page there. And then the Revolution has a Revolution fan page there. I have an actual email, which is Dr. Fink 1981 at gmail.com. So it's dr.fink 1981 at gmail.com. That's direct as well. And that's how you can reach me. I don't give out my phone number until, we break bread.
Yeah, smart. And for my listeners, I just want to say thank you so much for sticking with us. Obviously, you're here because you're enjoying the conversation, and thank you for all the reviews. They've been fantastic, and really, really appreciate it. Even the ones that aren't 5 stars, that gives me a chance to improve. So, keep them coming. And I really, really genuinely want to thank you so much. Oh, great conversation, so enlightening, and really, really enjoyed it. So I really appreciate your time.
So before I go, thank you. You're welcome. What is cannabis personal? What is that?
Oh, I didn't mention that's my book. It's called Making Cannabis Personal. It's
Yeah.
by Len May, and I want to thank also my listeners for buying the book on Amazon. I'm it's my first book.
Very interesting. I have to check that out. Now that cannabis is legal in Minnesota for recreational use, it was medical first. I've been thinking about possibly getting into a Dr. Fink cannabis line. What do you think?
Let's definitely talk about that. I've been in the
Yeah.
cannabis space for a very, very, very long time.
Okay.
I have, I have a company called EndoDNA. We have the
Oh,
first patented test. Well, the patent is for the use of DNA to make recommendations associated with the endocannabinoid system. So this is something that I've been doing for a very long time.
oh,
Music.
wow.
We can
Okay.
definitely talk about that.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.